You're listening to the AFTERBUZZ TV Network, now the largest new media platform on the web, and your #1 source for after-show entertainment.
Very good, Keith. Johnson.
The AFTERBUZZ Studios in Los Angeles, California. Presented by Maria Menounos and Bing.com and streaming live thanks to Akamai Technologies. This is AFTERBUZZ TV's Girls After Show. We'll break down tonight's episode and get you all the latest news and gossip. If you'd like to buzz in on tonight's show, you can buzz us at 424-256-1729. That's 424-256-1729. And now, another post-game wrap-up show for your favorite TV show. It's AFTERBUZZ TV's Girls After Show.
Yay! Hello, hello. Bing is for doing, and we are here doing another Girls After Show. And this one was a good one. We're at Season 1, Episode 8, and it's Weirdos Need Girlfriends Too. And
I love the title.
I know. I'm sitting here with my lovely co-hosts. Say hello, you guys.
Hi, I'm Miriam.
I'm Thomas. Good evening. Good morning to you, wherever you're at. Nice to see you.
Good day.
So, Thomas, you didn't think this one was as exciting for you. Why not?
I didn't like the ending. I mean,
Yeah.
let me rephrase it. I liked the ending. It went very well. I'm used to more of, like, I guess the show kind of spoiled me. Like, I'm used to more of the shock, and I know we talked about it afterwards.
Yeah.
This was kind of shocking the way it ended, but I'm more of just like that shock and awe. It's just, you're like, wow, I didn't expect that, and
I liked it. Going back to what I thought Adam was going to be like, and now seeing that, for me, that's what the shock is the fact that he's
Right.
totally opposite of what we thought he was going to be, like this douchey guy. And he's not. I liked how they opened the show, and they're laying in bed, they're projecting his home videos on the ceiling.
Well, let's talk about the first opening shot where it's like condom wrappers and used condoms on the floor.
And peanut butter. The peanut
Yes,
butter
the
was more
peanut
gross
butter.
than the condoms. I hate peanut butter. Cannot stand it.
I'm a jelly person, too.
Oh, yeah, it's just not, ugh.
I'm not a big peanut butter fan. It was so random, like the whole scene in there. And I mean, it's obvious that she's not very big into her hygiene because there's condoms lying all over the
Right.
place. And it's funny because when Jessa and Marnie were talking about it, they're like, she puts on a pretty dress, puts on some shoes, puts on some lipstick, but why is her forehead
Forehead's
always so shiny? Like, she's already halfway there. And Marnie said it best. She's like, maybe with Adam, she'll start to kind of step up her hygiene and start really taking care of herself. But she's a little piglet, and that's okay.
Well, and she tries, and then he kind of dirties her in the shower.
Oh, that.
That was kind of gross.
Well, but from the last episode too, we kind of see their dynamic change. He finally called her out and is like, "What do you want from me? You don't really ask me questions. You don't really want to get to know me. So how can you be mad at me for something I don't even know I'm doing wrong?" Basically, is what the whole thing was. So the last scene of the last episode, where they're in the car, and because he's like, "What do you want? You want me to be your boyfriend?" And then it's him, his bike, Marnie, and her in the back of a cab, and she's
my
got
God.
this like funny little smile while she's sitting in between
it was
them.
priceless.
She's happy.
It was awesome.
She finally got what she wanted.
Yes, which shows that they are obviously trying out this boyfriend and girlfriend thing, hence the beginning of this new episode. And I like that we get to see a different side of Adam, that we get to kind of see more about what this guy is about.
I'm very impressed and shocked at the kind of guy he really is. Now, I thought, first of all, my favorite part of the opening was, so when you were a kid, could you fly?
Because those ears
And
are
he's
so
all-
big,
he's
you
all
can take off.
He's all confused. He's like, "Wait, can you?"
Can you fly? And she's like, yeah, because you're big ear.
My ears weren't that big. I couldn't fly. Yeah, she wasn't very nice to him, but it was very
But
funny.
it was cute teasing. So.
I mean, for all the things that he says during sex, and the whole sex scene was just awkward. Poor Marnie had to hear that. She's miserable, crying like 20 people peed in her Cheerios. And she's just like, covering her ears and going through the whole like...
well, because
Scrapbooking, wasn't it? No, she was looking at pictures, Charlie's pictures.
Facebook, yeah.
And just reminiscing. And they're actually a really good-looking couple. I kind
Yeah.
of feel
No,
bad
it
for her.
wasn't the two of them. It was him and his new girlfriend.
No, there were some of her and him, I
No,
thought.
it was all him and his new
she
girlfriend.
looks
busted.
kinda-
Who wasn't paying attention to that scene?
they're both brunette, so
Yeah.
they can look kind of the same.
I thought
like
it
they're
was
similar.
her.
No.
Because I thought she was like looking back and being like, "Oh,
No,
I'm
she's
missing out on
looking
this,
at
I'm missing."
she's looking at pictures of him with his new girlfriend. They just went on a trip to Rome,
Yeah,
to
and
Europe.
she did talk about that. You're right.
Social media will kill you.
Yeah. So she's all depressed in her room.
Yeah.
You know, she looks like hell. She's, you know, she hasn't really showered. She's in her PJs. She's obviously depressed, and she's having to listen to this crazy sex going on in the room.
But then he's talking
next
about, "Do you
door.
want to do me like I'm a 5-year-old?" And she's like, "No, like you're 2 or something."
No, because she said I would have been 2.
He's like, you were probably a late walker. You were probably a late bloomer. Like he was their foreplay.
He's just
conversation.
he's so twisted about wanting her, because remember in past episodes when they were having sex, he wanted to, like, let's pretend you're like an 11-year-old and I'm coming to, like, you know. So he's got like this weird like fetish of wanting to, you know,
deflower
have
her or something.
at inappropriate ages. But you know, at least this time he was young too. So I
They
guess
were
that
both
makes
young
it a little
together,
bit-
but I mean, I don't even want to have that image of
It's
like little
terrible.
kids doing it. That's just
Ew.
terrible. It's bad. Their dynamic is just so wacky.
Yeah. Couldn't you identify with Marnie though? Like maybe not in her exact situation at that moment, but everyone's had roommates or neighbors or lived in a dormitory.
Oh yeah.
And people end up doing it next to you, like in the same room, and you're just like, really, and you're trying, or like you're either your roommate in your room, or like next door to you, and you're trying to get them to shut up so you can go to bed, or like you just really don't want to hear
It's
it.
never-
And she's
it's-
shutting the door, and like I've literally had a broom and been like, like you're just like banging against the wall or like banging.
I just had that with my most recent neighbor, and it was funny because the next day, like I looked at her and I was more embarrassed for, but she should have been the
you
one.
were telling the girl you're with, or
No. She was having it with some guy that was there, and I seen her the next day, and she was cool and chill about it. I'm more the embarrassed person, just like because I heard it and because our building was very, very close. I don't know. It was just very weird to me. I could not be the person to have loud sex because I would feel embarrassed. So I felt embarrassed for her, but she didn't give a damn. She was yelling either she was having good sex or she won the lottery because she kept saying yes. I was like, she's a really happy girl right now. So, but again, I was embarrassed, and I shouldn't be embarrassed.
You shouldn't be.
You shouldn't.
No.
Like I'm a screamer, so I feel bad for my neighbors, but at the same time, I'm
just
natural.
glad that like in the last 2 places that I've lived, there's no, like in my room, there's nobody underneath and there's nobody on the side
What are you
of
trying
me.
to say?
I'm just saying.
So just to end this conversation, when I was in college at the University of Texas, one of my roommates in the dorm brought a girl over, and I was in the bed right next to them, and they didn't think it would wake me up, and it totally woke, and I did bring that up.
That
And so I got up, but I felt awkward, so I started coughing because I'm like, I really don't want to be here. This is going on.
Oh no!
And then they look at me when I walk out, and I'm like, yeah.
But yeah,
So
especially
now that we aired that out, I've never talked about that before, by the way. So
No.
AfterBuzz exclusive.
I had the same thing happen, except I just pretended like I didn't hear it. I was like, "You're asleep. You're asleep. You're asleep."
No, they were loud. Okay, let's go back to this because we're really going on a tangent.
Yeah.
But
So they are just they're into each other, and
Yeah.
it's sweet to see.
it is.
And she's happy too. Like he like you said, he actually does care about her. She's kind of on a cloud 9 right now, and it totally flips between her and Marnie. You know, like she
Right.
was really sad, and now Marnie's the one that's really sad.
Well, it's actually, she flips on everybody because Jessa's not in a good place. She just lost her job with everything that happened with her. You know, Marnie's going through this breakup. So they're usually the ones that are getting all of this other attention. And they are really not liking the fact that Hannah is like all wrapped up in this relationship. But I like to see, I mean, they're cute together. Even when, you know, Marnie walks in on them in the kitchen and he took his pants off.
That was awkward. That was really weird though. Like, I mean, what did you think about that, Miriam? What?
When you're in love and it's the beginning of a relationship, you kind of want to do it everywhere, you know.
Yes,
that's just kind of the way
agree.
it goes.
It was really sweet
But in the
because
kitchen?
their whole
Everywhere.
in the kitchen, on the bathroom counter, on the sofa, on the arm. Like, you know,
Not where you eat, but I guess so.
Yeah.
You know, sometimes you just got to go with it, and you're not really thinking about what room you're in.
No.
You're just kind of going
the
with
passion in an elevator, wherever.
Buffing the floors.
You know,
I don't even
whatever.
care. If you're in that, and when you're in the beginning stages of a new romance, it's fun. You don't care about the PDA.
You don't get enough of each other, basically. And that's kind of what we're seeing with these two.
Yeah.
And he's really cute about it. That's what I like, is he's kissing her on her forehead when they're walking down the street. And he's really affectionate, which is something that I was really shocked to see.
Yeah.
He was carrying her shoes, too. You
Yeah.
caught that, and then
Oh
he hit
my
himself in the
God.
head with them.
The fact that he's
He had-
motivating her to run.
Yes.
He's doing things that she would never normally not do on her own. And so here they're going for a run together in the city, and she's hating it. You know, what was that? High five me, you're 10 feet away. I mean, catch up. You know, he's just really trying to motivate her.
Well, he's bringing her into his life.
Yeah.
That's what he does. So he's including her in his life, which is kind of, you know, a new thing for her, I think.
And then when she includes him in what she likes, the ice cream truck.
Yeah.
He tried it, actually. He doesn't like it, but he did
It's
try
sweet
it.
mucus.
Yeah, but he ate it anyway. He tried, you know, he tried it.
He didn't like it. His look on his face was hilarious. He was like, when he had the ice cream cone, he didn't know what to do with it.
I know. He's like, where do I put this? He was like, going to put it in the top cabinet.
That would be lovely the next day.
I know.
When they were running, back to the running though, I thought it was hilarious when she just gave up and like laid down in the middle of the street and started throwing her shoes at him like a 5-year-old. It was just pretty funny. Like, I was just, yeah.
But he doesn't get mad at her, and that's what I like, is that he gets her. I think.
Yeah.
I think he gets her in a way that her friends don't. And that her quirkiness and his, they complement each other.
Oh, hand in hand.
And he doesn't get mad at her. He playfully is like yelling at her like a
Yeah.
drill sergeant, like, get up, get up. But then they're laughing and he's carrying her shoes. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
It's
he didn't make her
sweet.
feel bad about it. He didn't like belittle her. And I like that, because he is, you know, he's trying to motivate her and bring her into his life, but he's still kind of letting her be who she is, and not, you know, I just don't. I
She's
like
letting
that.
him be himself too, actually.
Right.
She wants to learn more about him and is taking more of an active part. And you can see also when his temper flares later and how she kind of just like sat back or
Yeah.
which was really interesting.
Really, really annoyed with him. You know, he goes and says he takes her to his show that he's working on.
Which I thought that was pretty, you know, he was really excited about that.
Yeah.
We find out that he's doing this theater workshop, and he wrote it and he's starring in it. And we learn a little bit more about his character, and she's nervous to go, and
Yeah.
he's really excited to share this with her. And, you know, she gets to sit there and watch him, you know, and I like that she even acknowledges it later on, where she says it's really amazing to be able to sit and watch somebody do something and not be making fun of them.
Yeah.
Like, to really admire what they're doing. And I like that. And, you know, yes, you know, back to what you were saying, his temper.
When she even said when she was watching the play, she wanted to go back and kiss him back how many years ago, you know? I mean, it just really turned her on. And then afterwards, when he flipped out, you know, and then what was it? The car almost hit her. It was kind of weird to see him flip out like that, but it was almost like shocking because you could he doesn't handle his emotions very well. And so the only neat thing about it was he was protective of her. He just didn't handle it properly.
Well, and
so
I think
for him
he
to be
was
like,
already-
back off, I'm with a woman, like, how dare you do this?
Right.
But he just went like on a 10 scale, he was on a 12. Like, he just went off of it.
He did. I mean, it was kind of romantic because
You like when people be
no, it's not so much beating the car, but the motivation behind it was really sweet. It's like, I'm walking with a lady. Can't you see that? Like, pay attention. I mean, I yell at cars all the time when I'm driving because they don't hear me. But you don't see me banging on them or like pushing
I mean,
them
he
with
was
my
like
bumper.
in their face.
But he was definitely upset that she could have been hurt. And it's really interesting to see her character flip. And be annoyed with him and be very upset with him to the point where I thought that she was going to be like, yeah, I'm kind of done with this now.
Well, I think
Yeah.
she was a little bit scared more than I think she was annoyed, because he just, you know, she saw him, because in the play that he was part of and excited about in the morning, and then, you know, the other actor in the play that he's working on this with, you know, goes in a different direction that he doesn't like, so he quits. So she's seeing that part, and she like doesn't understand what's going on. He was really excited about it one minute, the next minute something doesn't go his way, and he's just done with it and over it.
I like that with his character. I like that he is a motivator.
Right.
And we see that with Kevin when they're sitting there and Kevin goes off on this total weird tangent of where the play was going. at first I thought it was a one-act play with just him.
Right, I did too.
And then that guy, Kevin, comes in and totally tries to OG it up, which was just terrible. But he goes and he turns to him and he gives him this really great pep talk and like, you know, believe in what you're putting out there, and not everybody has to laugh at your stuff. And sometimes you just have to tell the story and be raw and be real. And I like that he was motivated. He did the same thing with Marnie when Marnie was upset. In fact, he told Hannah to tone it down a notch.
Which I was impressed by that.
I was very impressed. I'm like, this guy who I thought was completely selfish, completely just a douchebag, is turning out to be a really great example for Hannah. And I think there's going to be a really good balance between the two of them with their relationship, because he's going to tone down her inconsiderate, selfish moments, and she motivates him back to do the play.
He's very sensitive, actually, and I think the play to me, he got mad the more I look at it, because the play is kind of a mock on his life, or like his experiences in life. And I think when the guy went off, he's like, dude, this is about me, like, back off.
Yeah.
Like, that's kind of how I took it.
Well, he says pretty much that much, because he says, I don't want to put my name on something that's mediocre. I'm not going to do it, you know, because your integrity is all you have.
I like that.
And I like that
That impressed
too.
me too, that he said that.
And as a writer, she should be able to relate to that, because, you know, you always want to do your best work, especially when you're throwing your name on something. But he is so quick to, you know, fly off the handle. So he's just going to quit and be over it instead of trying to compromise and work it out. But then when she explains to him, you know, I enjoyed watching you. I don't know about him. I wasn't watching him. I was watching you. And it made me want to meet you at 15 and kiss you. And then his whole tune changes, and now he wants to do it so she can watch it. And I think that that's great. I think they are going to help each other. He's going to help her not be so sarcastic all the time and to understand other people's feelings, because sometimes I don't think she does.
Yeah.
Well,
and, you know, with him toning her down when they were at the table talking to Marnie was a good example of that. Like, don't make fun of that. It's really hard. Heartbreak hurts.
I would hate to see him as an alcoholic. Like, since he's in AA,
he'd be raging.
I would be petrified.
Like, he would have gone to drink immediately after that show. He can't handle his emotions. That goes back to the emotions. He can't handle when things don't go his way. He just walks and leaves because he can't process. He can't process his feelings. That's something he's.
Do we know what
he
does, like, for a living? I mean,
he's a woodworker.
Yeah,
he does carpentry.
He gets money from his grandmother.
Yeah,
yeah.
And I like how he, when he walks out of the play, he says, "I need to focus on building my boat, the one he wants to sink on 4th of July."
Right. Yeah. But I think going back to his like emotional, you know, outbursts and, you know, his AA stuff, I think that's why for me, when I saw Hannah get upset after he yelled at the car, I thought she was more scared than she was mad at him. Yeah. Because she was just like, oh shit, you know, when he like runs off, and she's like, because she's never seen him really like that. They're always in the bedroom.
But he flipped like that. I mean, it was just like a split second, just bam. And then it went back the other way, though, in the shower. Because when they came back, you know, he hinted, hey, do you want to have sex? And she's like, no, I want to shower. Yeah. She turned him down, which was really interesting.
Right.
And then she walked in the shower, and then she's, you know, lathering up and everything, and turns around. And he walks in and scares the crap out of her.
He's kind of like serial killer.
Yeah, that was kind of weird.
Like,
yeah, he's just laughing like, you forgot this. And then he's like, oh, this is for your split ends. And he just like slaps,
I thought that
but
was
he like
hilarious.
slaps it on her head and just sits there.
Not even like in a sexy way. It's just like.
She's like, thanks, I think.
But the worst is like he starts laughing and he's freaking peeing on her, and she's freaking out.
And she's like, stop, you're not stopping. Stop.
It's not funny.
And then he's laughing, and then she gets so mad she walks out, or she runs out of the shower.
Yeah, she gets out of the shower.
And then he tells her, he's like, I don't know why you're running, you have pee on you now. It's kind of defeats the point of it.
Now's not a good time to get out.
Like, soap it off.
Oh my gosh. And then she's mad, sitting on the couch in her onesie.
That he got her. He got the matching onesies. I thought that was really cute.
Were wearing...
Except for the hole in the crotch, which she says is to pee out of. How appropriate.
Well, no, but I like that he tells her, you look good in that. She's like, what, like a bundled up baby? He's like, no, seriously, like pretty.
Sorry.
But their matching onesies were, I think, my favorite.
They were cute.
And he was like making them something to eat. Like he was making them a snack. He was making them what, yogurt and fruit, I think?
Yeah.
And then like, ew.
I'm sorry, he decided to pee right at this moment, and I just thought I'd let you hear it.
I actually kind of have to go now. You might want to stop that.
We're all going to have issues. Well, while you think about going to the restroom, I will say thank you to the iTunes people who comment and rate our show. We appreciate that. And we have a lot of people in the chat room, Kelly, also that are watching and excited about you guys, too.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, keep it coming.
Very cool.
But yeah, the onesies, I absolutely love them. And
Yeah, that was pretty funny.
It was really cute to see because again, he's like trying to bring her, into his little life, and he's at their place and he's making them something to eat. They're sitting on the couch in their onesies and they match and they're all coupley. It's funny,
cute. It's the opposite of what I thought was going to happen, and I really liked how in the end, and I know you're disappointed with the end. But I really liked how in the end he woke her up and he was like, "Come on, get up, get up." And I like that he calls her kid. Come with me, kid. Follow me, kid. She's like, "Where are we going?" This is like when my parents, and she's walking the streets in her onesie.
She's in her, which really quick, if you're in a relationship and you want to be matchy with your significant other and you want your very own onesie, you can go to Amazon.com. Right here from the AFTERBUZZ TV website, which I personally love to online shop, and I don't think I've even seen those kind of onesies in a store
And
for
more
real.
of a snuggie person.
I like,
But you can get one of those too. But if you go to www.afterbuzztv.com and click on our Amazon banner, it helps us out. We get a little kickback from it, and you can shop online like you normally would, but you're helping us out so we can continue to do these lovely shows and sit here and give our opinions and make you listen to them.
So have you ever worn the same clothes as your significant other? Like a onesie, or have you?
not on purpose, where I've gone out and it's like, oh my God, we're both matching, wearing black tops, jeans, and tan boots.
I've done the split pajamas, he'll wear bottoms, I wear the top kind of thing, like the long t-shirt and like done that, you share them and split it in half. But I've never the twinsy thing. I've never personally. I mean, I can't. It can be cute, I guess, but
sometimes when you're connected. When you're really on a connected level with somebody, sometimes that happens without even having it to be said.
Right.
If you know what,
yeah, you're just thinking the same.
Yeah, you just great minds think alike, and it's like, okay, today I'm gonna wear a striped shirt, and then Thomas is wearing a striped shirt. You're like, oh my God, you have to change. No, you have to change. Now we'll be fine. And you
At
go.
least you're not wearing plaid.
We were the plaid team last week.
Oh, I loved it.
Don't get raped by the man in plaid.
Loved it.
No, but her running
Well,
down
I feel
the street.
real embarrassed because I got plaid today. So
no.
am I the
Long
rapist
plaid.
today? My bad.
Come on out of the booth. Come on out of the
Yeah,
booth.
you need to go to Amazon.com right now and get
I'm
a
gonna
new
go buy my
wardrobe.
crotchless onesie.
But I like how he had that moment, and that's something that they do in AA is you go and you have to make amends.
Right.
And he wanted to make amends with the driver because he knew that he finally figured it out. She's upset with me, and I can't figure out why. It's not because I peed on her because she was annoyed before that.
Right.
And so he goes and he totally wallpapers the building with sorry.
Well, because she tells him you're the worst apologizer. Because he
When he was
says,
cooking,
because when he was making their little snack or whatever, and he says, "I'm sorry you didn't think it was as funny as I did," and or something along those lines. And she says,
You're the
worst at
apologizer ever."
apologizing. And I think that's what motivated him. So he went all out and he, papered the wall with sorry. And he creative, printed these flyers out and plastered them all over the wall, wakes her up after he's done a whole entire section. He wakes her up and she runs out in her onesie and she's overwhelmed and she runs up and kisses him. And, it shows the good guy side of him a little bit.
And he also included her in that, which I thought was
I
pretty
thought
neat,
that
to
was
make
cute.
it a part of the relationship building process.
Help me do this.
Which is
like
true. She
it.
helped him get to that point too. She called him out, but he actually listened to her, which says that he actually cares back to what she thinks. And
Yeah, and he says, I'm going to
course.
do the play so you can watch it. So I thought that was so cute. And then, he throws her on his shoulders and she's plastering. And then he's like, okay, let's go back to the bedroom.
yeah, and let's.
I like the relationship. It's fun.
too.
Relationships tend to lose that that yumminess.
The spark.
That spark, you get too comfortable. And so it's fun to see that. It's fun to be a part of that beginning phase.
Right, which is what happened with Charlie and Marnie.
Yeah.
Which is why now she's locked up in her room, looking at his
his
Facebook
Facebook.
page
Which-
because he's moving on, and she.
And good for him though, because she didn't
It is.
appreciate him,
She
and
did not.
she was the problem. He tried everything he could, and no matter what he did, it wasn't good enough for her.
So now
Yeah.
he's found someone that truly appreciates him and adores him the way he adored her. and she's just not liking it. But then, Jessa comes over, and she's,
BFFs?
She's hilarious.
I like that she tells her, you look really beautiful. I like you all, like,
What'd she say? Strip down.
Strip down.
Yeah, Blair's stripped
Well,
down.
I like her entrance. She's like, open the door. My thighs are on fire. And then what did she say? She was like, it feels like there was an epic...
Like an epic fuck fest, quote, an epic fuck fest with the ghost.
Yes.
And she's just laying there with her legs in the air.
Now, ladies, I don't know about you, but there have been times it's hot and sticky outside and you're wearing a skirt or something, sometimes it's not really good on your thighs when you're running down the street.
No, not at all. And come to find that she lost her job. And it was funny to see Jessa get upset that Hannah wasn't around, because what Hannah's doing, being involved with her boyfriend, is something that she would do when she's not involved with anyone.
Right.
So it's like almost the pot calling the kettle black.
Well, they're all, and then they start, like breaking down this whole relationship. Talking smack, kind of, about Adam. Like, what's his deal? What's the deal with this guy? And I think Marnie's tune has changed a little when they're sitting at the table, and he's kind of very compassionate and telling her, I know this is hard, I get it, but my situation, makes it, relates to her.
But
and he's totally weird about it.
Mm-hmm.
He's like, when my college girlfriend and I broke up, it made me sit back and say to myself, what do I want? And he's like, I changed majors and I bought a circular saw. And like, he's so random. And I think Marnie now appreciates the softer side of him, but still sees him as this weirdo, which her and Jessa start talking about. Like, how weird is he?
That he takes a crap and he's drinking milk at the same time.
Yeah, because he's quirky. He does like weird guy stuff.
That's
there's
weird.
just not
Food in the bathroom.
But she never paid attention to Charlie, so she didn't really know what he was doing.
She didn't even know where he lived.
So so who knows? He could have had these quirky things going on too. I mean, he shaves his head for a nice reason, and she doesn't even know that. So she doesn't really pay attention too much to anybody other than her, which I think this whole breakup is going to force her to kind of now
analyze herself,
and wonder why. Because she even says it's so makes me crazy to be so locked inside my head and be the uptight one all the time.
I like how. Oh, I'm sorry.
No, I was just gonna say. She even told Jessa. She goes, "Just stop pretending to be my friend. I've known you how many years, and we're not friends."
You're going exactly where I was gonna go. I like that. First of all, the fact that she says, I've known you for 6, you've only know my name for 3.
Mm-hmm.
And Jess is like, wait a second, I do genuinely care about you, and I want to see you happy. And, she starts breaking down all of these things that she's like, I love your work ethic, and I love your hygiene, and I love, she's like, but I'm uptight.
Yeah.
And Jess is like, yeah. And they have like this whole really yummy bonding moment. And I like to see that because, I mean, technically they're all girlfriends.
Right.
And
some are closer than others. And watching them bond in this episode was nice to see them, see a different side of each other.
Yeah.
Because, Marnie pretty much thought Jessa was a flake and just, kind of didn't care about anyone else. And so they got to really see a different side of each other. But I also and I thought it was kind of funny where Marnie says, I've never been so miserable in all of my life, and Jess is like, it's working for you.
Yeah.
It looks great.
It looks good on you.
And then she said, no one ever wants to get the friendship tattoos with me, and I'm always the one, just very strict, regimented. But I thought it was really interesting. She's realizing now how she treats people, and she doesn't like to be that person.
Right. So she's trying to, take a step back, look at herself, and see what she can change. And that's what we see, which was very shocking.
Oh,
to
that
see
was
her,
awesome.
Explore another side. They're at the bar drinking martinis.
I love that.
Which I thought was great. And she's, they're having this bonding moment that we really don't see with those two characters.
Kind of a Sex and the City moment. Almost,
Yeah.
It was, but it was a little bit more realistic and sweet. And because of their bonding moment, like when the guy sends over the drinks, obviously not Jess's type.
Right.
But Jessa liked the old guy is what was funny.
She did.
When he got up and left.
older man.
When he got up and left, she's like,
She's so quirky. It's awesome.
No, it was great. And, and the guy that played the venture capitalist, did we ever catch his name?
Just venture capitalist.
Yeah, but is one of my favorite actors. He was, from Bridesmaids, and I think he is hilarious. So I loved his whole breakdown was hilarious.
I was a little nervous.
But I thought it was good. Yeah, I'm glad that it didn't get as violent as I thought it might get. I
thought he was
go.
slightly serial killer-esque.
A little bit
Yeah, the apartment was
American
kinda...
Psycho, a little bit, I think. But you know, before that, Jess's reaction to him was so funny. She was so blatantly not having it. Nothing he said was funny. She had this ugly look on her face the entire time, and he's like, she's a firecracker. And, you know, Marnie's like, I like him, and, you know, he's really cute. She's like, is he though? Is he? I don't know.
She says his face is a little block.
Like blocky, like cereal box.
Yeah, cereal blocky.
Very square.
Yeah. She did not like him from the beginning at all. She couldn't exactly.
But I like that she didn't ditch her. She was a good girlfriend, and she.
But she was protective of Marnie. You could see she was like, no, we don't need to go there. And then Marnie kept cutting her off, and Marnie was trying to be the more adventurous one.
But she still went with her. She didn't bail on her friend, even though she wasn't really feeling it, which is a good friend.
I think that, and maybe this is because I looked at him and just saw serial killer. I think that she wanted to make sure that she was going to be okay.
Yeah.
And it was really interesting because here they are in this apartment, and he's playing his Mashable jams.
Which is horrible. Like
little kids laughing in the background, and can you steal my sunshine?
Well, let's talk about his apartment. Okay, so he's this venture capitalist guy. He's in a suit.
Yes.
You know, so again, he's got the whole American Psycho thing going on. He's got his slick back hair and his suit and tie. We go into this sky-rise apartment building that he's living in Brooklyn, and it's all very modern, you know, with the modern furniture, and then all of a sudden it's got a DJ set up in the back.
With the $10,000 rug or whatever.
Yeah, with his, his rug. They open a bottle of wine. So he's like trying to do this whole bougie thing. Yeah. Because like, come over and drink wine, Did you
like how he tried to woo them in when he's like, well, I have this bottle of wine I've been saving for a rainy day.
Yeah.
Just to backtrack, and then Jessa's like, the weather's fine.
I love that.
She's like,
Jessa obviously did not want to hang out with this guy, but Marnie obviously did. So, they go to this, but just the whole atmosphere of his apartment and there was just something not, quite right about this guy and his expectations, which is obvious. You invite girls back to your house, we know what's going to happen, but listening to the Steal My Sunshine with kids laughing in the background is super creepy.
Yeah, really creepy.
There's the other one that he was doing was really weird as well.
The remix that he made, or his own personal mix, right? Was it?
Oh
no.
There it is. Yes, with all the laughing children in the background. Creepy.
Yeah, he was a weird one.
And then Jessa's like, just give me more wine.
No, but I love that he's like there trying to DJ, like for real.
But okay, so when they're laying on their sunshine almost got stolen.
Yes.
That's where I thought he was having a serial killer moment.
Yes. They're laying down and I love that Jessa's like, yeah, it sounds awesome. And she's like...
And he can hear her because he's like, yeah, blah, blah, he's talking about it. So they're laying down. So no, they're sitting there, and then Jessa and Marnie, I don't know which one does it first, but they both lay down.
Jessa decides she wants to lay down, and Marnie's like, okay, I'm totally going to go on this bandwagon. So they're laying down like sardines, and he's like, yes.
I'm going to join you.
And he takes off his coat.
Yeah, and he just takes it off slowly, like that. And he just kind of like walks over and like leans over, and he just props his head up. Just very awkward.
And he's all, here I am.
Yeah, and then, it was just such an odd moment. But he first he touches Marnie, and he touches her stomach, and then her vagina.
And he goes and crosses back to the other one, and it's just...
And then Jessa slaps his hand off or pulls his hand off.
Well, she jumps up and is like, okay, no. I think it's time to go. She's like, we've outstayed our welcome. And, Marnie's like, no. And then here's the kicker. Marnie goes in and kisses her. And we get some girl-on-girl action.
I almost peed my pants.
That was a big shocker.
I was like,
that would have been a good ending. That would have been like, wow, that's the ending I was looking for.
That was funny because, she kisses Jessa. Jessa's like, wait, what? And then she's like, all right. So Jessa goes in and starts giving her the tongue, and then it gets real.
And then venture capitalist, we don't know his name. If you know his name, tweet us. But venture capitalist tries to go in for his move, like any guy in the apartment would. He goes in for his move, and then she slaps him back. And it's just really funny because it just keeps going back and forth. He doesn't get the hint. Yeah.
And she takes it off.
He's trying so hard to fit in there somewhere.
He tries to kiss them, and then he gets in, so they're like this, kissing, and then he gets in the middle, and they just pull away like, what are you doing?
And then he grabs Marnie's boob, and she's like, no. And I honestly thought that she was going to hook up with him at least.
Right.
So I was shocked that she was not even interested when she took his hand off of her boob.
Yeah, and then she had that knee-jerk reaction and kicks and spills the wine, and then, oh my God.
Which is a bunch of BS though, because like he got upset at them when he's the one that was being inappropriate with her, and then she reacted. You know, she was out of her comfort zone.
Right, but there's two girls making out on his rug. He's thinking he's about to score big time.
Yeah,
so
that's like a man's dream.
Absolutely.
True,
so
but
he's like, you came to my house. You're teasing me. You're
on my
flirting with me.
$1,000 rug with my amazing wine, my awesome jams.
My awesome jams.
I want to be a part of this. What was the
He
exact
said that
quote
he
said?
wanted to be balls deep.
Oh, to be
in
balls deep.
something.
It's something.
And he didn't care what.
And
he
you
just
need to
wanted
figure that out.
He's like, I want to be part of this group.
Exactly.
And it's like, okay, guys. Okay, here's the situation. Like, if you ever find yourself in a similar situation, throwing a temper tantrum and demanding to be part of the group is not sexy.
No, not at all.
Well, did you see their faces? They're just like, okay.
I mean, he is like going off. I work hard. Do you guys even know what it's like to have a real job?
Which they don't know what it's
Which
like.
is really funny because Jess is like, no, we don't. Tell us. She's such a bitch.
She's awesome
I
though.
love
She's
it.
hilarious. Yeah.
No, I love it. And she sits up. She's like, no, tell us. Like, all
Daddy
smarty.
didn't buy me this. I bought the rug. I bought this. I bought that, which he's still going off about. It was just, it was very bizarre.
Goes off on this crazy tangent, and then Marnie is like freaking out, and she's like, we don't want to hurt his feelings. And, we already know the kind of, mentality that Jessa has, and she's like, screw this, and she to pick up their stuff, and, he's like, I want to be a part of this, and she's like, that's never gonna happen. So he's got this, sad. It's more of a sad, disappointed look on his face, more than it is mad. I think he's just like a child that you just took away his favorite toy. He's kind of just sitting there.
He didn't even get to unwrap the gift. Like that's. I don't get a laugh. No,
I like how when they left.
There we go.
I like how when they left, she says to him, oh, by the way, you're gonna see me doing her on the sidewalk.
Yeah.
Right
like,
outside.
Why don't you something on the sidewalk? Yeah.
Like peek
on
out the
curb,
window and you can watch for being crazy.
Yeah, and then they just leave, and he's just left there to clean up the red wine from his $10,000 rug.
Oh, and then back to the relationship. They were talking about when they lost their virginity. We didn't bring that up.
I like that conversation.
And it was shocking that Marnie lost it before. You would have stereotyped and thought Jessa had lost it earlier, probably. I mean, that's what I would have stereotyped.
I would have thought Jessa was the one that lost it at 14, and Marnie probably lost it at 22.
Yeah.
And come to find that Jessa was 17, and Marnie was 14, and I like the one comment that she said. She goes, sex without breasts is creepy.
Yeah.
Jess is like, I didn't want to have sex early because sex without breasts is just creepy. It's like doing a 12-year-old boy, and that's not cool. I mean, she didn't say that, but that's my
analogy.
Yeah.
No, and so, and that could play, into, the average age of when, girls decide that they're ready and like all of that. It depends because
it was sweet.
But I mean, it was a bonding moment for the two of their characters and and I liked that. Their whole little date with each other was cute.
It was. And I liked how when she's telling Jessa, she's like, hey, let's go and do this. Let's go enjoy some wine. And she goes, I like you. And she touches her on the nose. I was like, that was different for Marnie to like do that.
Open up. She's very
and
guarded.
To be sweet and be like, but I like you, and come on, let's do this and let's have fun. Let's be adventurous, which is totally the opposite of what she really is.
Right. And that, and that moment right there kind of made me think a little bit like, and I was wondering if it was going to kind of go the way that it did. But I mean, it still shocks me either way.
Yeah.
But it was still, to see because of the way she said it and that little playful tone to her that was a little bit more flirty than it was just like a girlfriend kind of conversation.
Well, and Hannah's relationship allowed this relationship to blossom because Hannah wasn't there for Marnie to kind of lean into, so she had to go to Jessa.
Yeah, so they had to lean on each other.
Which that whole night's going to build their friendship. I mean, they're going to be really good friends after this, I have a feeling.
Yeah, absolutely. And as always, we kind of want to know what you guys think. So please go to iTunes and download our show and rate us and leave a comment and let us know what you think. I mean, do you think that, now maybe Jessa and Marnie are going to kind of explore their little fling a little bit more? Or is it going to stay to the way, like Jessa said, I'm not, or that Marnie said, I'm just trying to be free and kind of see what that happens. So
you think Hannah will get jealous? I didn't get to make out with you. We never did that. I mean,
it could be.
Because they're all selfish. They're all very selfish people.
They are, absolutely. Well, let's take a break, and then when we come back, we can, get more into that, into what we think about that, wrap that stuff up, and get into some predictions.
Hey guys, so what do you get when 3 real single ladies are super fans of VH1 Single Ladies? Well, you get the after show on AfterBuzz TV. I'm Lauren Turner.
I'm Spicy Mighty, bringing that fire.
And I'm Fallon Mercedes. And we're single ladies, so make sure you watch us on AfterBuzz TV. We're all the single ladies, all the single ladies, all the single ladies.
Hey guys, it's JC, host of The Bachelorette, here on AfterBuzz TV.
Hey, I'm Crystal. I've been on Bachelor and Bachelor Pad for the inside scoop. You want to check us out?
And if you're looking for an opinion, I've got one. I'm Canton Bliss.
And I'm your relationship expert, Jenna Couture.
I'm Kathy Kelly, and I bring you all your Bachelor and Bachelorette news.
All this at 10 p.m. Pacific on AfterBuzz TV.
Hey guys, this is the AfterBuzz TV crew for The Real Housewives of New Jersey. Woo! Don't forget to tune in every Monday night at 8 p.m. to see
Adrienne Barrow,
Deanna Vaughn,
Susan Hahn, Giselle Ugardi.
Buzz you later!
AfterBuzz TV. What do you want to buzz about?
AfterBuzz.
Oh, I forget about that. I forget about that little ending. So we're just buzzing about Jessa and Marnie making out. That's kind of where we're at right now. I don't know. What do you guys think?
When Marnie starts explaining to the venture capitalist about about why it is that she was sitting there making out with Jessa and not with him, she's like, I just wanted to be free and experiment. And I think that Jessa is going to bring Marnie to a place of being a little lighter, and she needs to be, because here she is, she's stalking Charlie's Facebook, and she's seeing the reason why he never asked her to go to Rome, the reason why she's the friend that nobody wants to get a matching tattoo with, or whatever the case may be, is because she's so uptight, and she doesn't want to be that person anymore. She wants to travel, and she wants the relationship that she saw Charlie, who was her boyfriend not even 2 weeks ago, having with some other girl. And I think Jessa's really going to just bring out that freeness for Marnie.
I think so too. And I think that, watching Hannah's relationship with Adam, I think is going to kind of have a little bit of an impact too, because it's so different than what her relationship was with Charlie. So to see the two of them, and I think Adam's quirkiness is kind of going to open her up in a little bit of a different way, at least to be more open to other people's personalities and things
like the
that.
idea with Adam as well for Marnie, because she seems very judgmental towards Adam, and if it continues to work in this weird, awkward, Weirdos Need Girlfriends Too, like that's going to make Marnie say, man, she's going to check herself a little bit, because she's going to see that it is actually working for Hannah, because Hannah's a real person, and Marnie maybe was too protected, as you guys were talking about. So I like that breakdown moment for Marnie. I think that's great.
I do too. I think that she absolutely needed to kind of take a step back and look at herself, because she is, not only is she uptight, but she's very judgmental.
Yeah.
So but as we've said before too, all of the girls are very selfish in different ways.
Yeah.
So it's just a growing process for all of them, and I think all of their situations are going to have a positive effect on each other, because it's forcing them to grow up in these different ways and to mature in these different things.
Marnie and Jessa are definitely going to grow stronger together, and I was just writing this down to Miriam. I wonder if they're going to go on like some little vacation, maybe to Europe, or some kind of like random spontaneous thing. Like Jessa's going to encourage Marnie to go seek her love for Charlie or something. Just something random, but I have a feeling they may go into some like little adventure amongst themselves.
Well, and the thing too,
they're all going off in their own little.
But the thing that Hannah pointed out to Marnie too was that she never wanted to end up with Charlie. So this thinking that she has, and which is when Adam kind of told her to chill out about her kind of dismissing it.
Yeah.
But what she says is true. She never wanted to end up with him. So she's kind of tricking herself, because I think it's more of she's jealous of his newfound happiness and relationship than she really wants him back. It's more of the ego.
You don't think
and I think we go through that. I don't really.
I think she might miss him.
I don't know. I don't think so. I think and this is the thing, is when you go through a breakup, there's obviously the different stages, but you also have to identify the difference between really wanting somebody back or not wanting to lose.
Yeah.
Whether it's your ego or if it's really that you love this other person. And I think it's more of her ego right now than she really wants Charlie.
Yeah.
And which I think that's what she needs to figure out, and she needs to check, because he deserves to be happy. And there's no real set rule on how long it takes somebody to get over somebody else. So, so her sitting, at the house, stalking him on Facebook, she could be playing, Just Dance 3 or something like that. you know, she
The
needs
award
to kind
for
of,
the best segue ever goes to Kelly.
She needs to, you know, kind of get off her butt a little bit, and it's okay to be depressed and like all of that, but you know, get off of Facebook and let's play some video games instead. So if that's your thing, you can go to gamefly.com/AfterBuzzTV and you get a 15 free day trial to get any video game that you could imagine for Xbox, Wii, PS3, all of those, and it's just like Netflix. You get to keep it for as long as you want, send it back. And I know I personally don't. I have a Wii, and I don't like spending $50 or $60 on games. That's why I have like one game.
Or you just play it and return it. I didn't tell you to do that. But,
but this is better. So you know you pay the monthly fee and then you get to keep it. But if you go to gamefly.com/AfterBuzzTV, you get to try it out for 15 days for free. So you know you get to play a video game for free for a few days. You know, check it out.
Awesome.
So make sure to check that out.
What about Shoshana? She was not in this episode. I wonder what's going to happen in the next episode. Do you think she was on a date or some little excursion with that guy?
She was probably in
party,
school studying.
You know, she really hasn't. You know, she only pops up every now and then. Very, you know, the last episode last week was, you know, more focused on her, which I loved.
Yeah, she's a great character.
You know, she pops in and out at different times. There's been a few episodes when we haven't really seen her.
I like that because, you know, initially when they first started before the show, they compared it to Sex in the City and all that kind of stuff. It isn't at all near Sex in the City.
No.
They have moments like the walking into the club last week together, the drinking martinis together, but they're not all together all the time like they are in Sex in the City. And
they're very rarely all together.
Yeah. So it's
which is another reason the show's real. I mean, you don't have that same group of people that like are together every single day.
Yeah.
But you have people that are part of your lives for a lot, you know, every day, and then all of a sudden they're out of your lives.
Well,
I mean,
they're
I like
also
that.
out in the city living their lives and finding themselves and trying to figure themselves out. Just like Marnie making out with Jessa, you know, just like Hannah, you know, going out with Adam. They're they're bringing people into their lives and discovering.
Well, a lot of the criticism that I've been seeing about the show, it's like, you know, recently James Franco wrote a review about it on his blog, and he talked about how he watches it religiously but can't figure out why. Like, you know, that's the thing. But people are still watching. But I think the thing is you're so used to seeing all the guys are hot, all the girls are hot. And with this show, they're not. There's more to the character. Because honestly, like, I kind of have a little crush on Adam after this episode right now.
Oh,
I really do.
Yeah. Tweet her.
I kind of do. I mean, he's not your typical, you know, like, hot guy or anything, but there's something kind of endearing about
like
watching
genuine
and kind of watching him and getting to know him and wondering about the life that he's lived. You know, it just kind of, there's so much more depth to him than the type of guys that we would see on Sex and the City that just kind of rotated through the women's houses.
They'd be like venture capitalists,
right. This is something a little bit different, and that's what I like personally so much about the show, because no, it's not a typical character that you see anywhere, and that's what makes it. That's why he's watching and can't figure it out, because I think that's what he likes.
I hate these typical characters you do see on TV sometimes, because then you as a person, I'm not saying I've done this, but there are parts of you that tries to aspire to be what you see on television, and now we finally get a show that we could all be like, dang, I'm weird, awkward, I go through my ups and downs, and yet all these people on this show, they're experiencing all that, and we get to live that. And we have great conversations about it. So, I mean, I really, really dig it. Kelly told me about the show, you know, a couple months ago, and I'm like, it's groundbreaking. One of the AfterBuzzers I was talking to a minute ago before you guys started, he said the same thing. He goes, I don't know why I watch it, and it's like a train wreck, and I have my hands over my eyes, but I'm still peeking through to see the show.
And there's a lot of people. Yeah, there's a lot of people that are kind of feeling that way, but I think that's what it is, because it's taking you out of what you're used to when it comes to television.
The setting, too. It's even in Brooklyn. It's not set in Manhattan. Most people don't live in Manhattan.
The flashiest we've ever seen is Venture Capitalist Apartment.
Yes.
That's the flashiest we've seen so far, but it's very much raw and real.
Well, that party came close last week.
But that was like a where. That was like, wait a minute, that's like a warehouse, right? Yeah. But you know, it's very. Even the hospital that they go to was very like scary, like gunshot wounds only are at that place.
Like county,
you know, totally. And so it's all very different and more like something that you can. And I think people in those days that you can absolutely relate to. So I like that about the show. I mean, it's one of my favorite things. Well, let's get into some predictions and think about what we're going to see next. Thomas?
And now, your AfterBuzz TV predictions.
Ooh. I foresee Hannah and Adam's relationship getting better. You know, there's going to be some more bumps in the road, but I see them growing more and more close. I just wonder how that's going to affect the relationships with her girlfriends. And if Marnie or maybe Shoshana, maybe not Shoshana as much, but more Jess, if they're going to like get more upset with her, or for example, like let's say next week, they'll tell her about them kissing, and she'll probably get annoyed by it, but then they'll say like, hey, you dumped us for your boyfriend. So that's kind of something that I'm curious, and also just Shoshana, like I brought up earlier. I just kind of want to know what's going on with her. She's just kind of like the wild card of the whole. Yeah. Well, her and Jessa, but really Shoshana, she just impresses you more and more. Yeah. Just how she's growing as okay, she was cracked out, but besides that, she's just growing as an individual.
I think she was getting over that this episode. She was dealing with her crack.
She was detoxing?
Yeah, she was detoxing.
I watched that episode 4 times already.
I loved it. What do you think, Miriam?
I think that down the road, Hannah's gonna get sick of Adam. I think she's gonna start seeing these little things. I even think that maybe he may fall off the wagon or something and lose his, lose it. And that's going to scare her, and that's going to make her rethink the relationship. That's what I think might happen. As far as Marnie's concerned, I think it's time for her to start moving on, and I think that Jess is going to be the one that helps her do that by bringing her out and by letting her see a softer side of life. And you don't have to be so uptight. And when you're open to things, you'll be open to the relationships that you want to attract.
So you don't think at all Marnie, like you guys were talking about, she initially right now just doesn't want to lose, like the Charlie thing. You don't think at some point by her kind of going through this Facebook, drama, and like you don't think at some point she will want to kind of be an evolved person that does want to travel and all this good stuff, but maybe kind of get back to Charlie? I don't like, he was a good dude for her, right?
I don't think we're done with Charlie. I think they may try to get back together. She or he may try with her, but it's not completely over with them.
No, and I mean, that's what usually happens, but I think she's tricking herself, and I think that's the thing, is I don't think that it's done, but because I don't think she realizes this, but I don't think, because when you fall out of love with somebody, you just do, and there's a reason for that. So when your ego takes over, sometimes it's really hard to tell the difference. Yeah. It just is. It's really hard to decide, do you really want to be with this person because you really want to be with them, or you just don't want to see them with anybody else? And I think that's going to be the struggle.
With him, or is she just that miserable with her life?
No, I think that he just is. I don't think honestly, I don't think she deserves him.
Wow.
That's what I think. I just really don't. And I think that she's gonna, kind of take a lot of this out on Hannah. I think she's gonna pick Hannah apart. I think she's gonna, be a lot, like, project that anger out onto Hannah because she doesn't know how to deal with it. Because a lot of people do. We always hurt the ones we love, in that sense. You always take things out on the ones closest to you. So that's gonna be interesting, I think, to see, is like how their relationship kind of makes it through this breakup of hers, especially since Hannah has a boyfriend. So I'm curious to see that. But as always, we want to know what you think, so make sure to hit us up on iTunes, download the show, and you can tweet me at Kellie with an IEO79 and us at AfterBuzz TV. And where can they find you guys?
You can tweet me at Miriam Gonzalez.
You can play with my Twitter at Thomas Guide. Someone has to say it. TOMASGUIDE.
I don't blush as hard when you say it, though. When Madi says it, I just blush so bad. It's silly.
And we will have the spicy back next week, so make sure to check us out again.
You're here in memory, Madi. You were here in memory.
So see you next time.
From Bing.com, executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
Now I have to pee.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.